Perfect. Awesome. Well, welcome everyone to the February statewide Zoom. This month's presentation is going to be about Medicaid storytelling and how you can use your story to help protect Medicaid. So I'm going to hand it off now to Erin McGuire.
Hello, everybody. I am Erin McGuire, and I am the president for Self Advocates of Indiana. So, what is Medicaid? Medicaid is the nation's primary health insurance program for people with disabilities, but it is also used for so much more for individuals with disabilities as well as family members. Medicaid also provides funding for supports to help individuals live and work in their communities. Over 10 million people with disabilities use Medicaid, with it funding 77% of essential services for people with disabilities. Oh, sorry. Services Medicaid provides home and community-based services such as the HCBS, which that help 4.5 million people with disabilities live, work, and more in their communities. Early intervention for young children, school-based therapies, as well as equipment and assistive technologies that are usually not provided through private insurance. Job skill trainings, job placement assistance, and coaching that helps people with disabilities find competitive and integrated employment. Call to action. Medicaid is at risk federally due to proposed funding cuts to the program. One way we can advocate to protect Medicaid is to tell them how important Medicaid is to our lives. So telling them is like your legislators and that. So why sharing your story matters? Stories can be very powerful. They can change people's minds on important issues. You can use your story to show elected officials how much Medicaid means to you and the different ways you use it in your life. Everybody has a story. It's important to share your story no matter what your communication style is. Sharing your story can be scary, but it can make an impact. So, how do we effectively tell our stories so that they have the most impact when we are telling them? First of all, start with you. Share a little about yourself to start off with so they can get an idea of who you are. Then start to go over the different ways you use Medicaid in your life and how cuts to Medicaid might affect the way you live your life. It's important to stay on topic with your goal in mind when telling your story so that it has maximum effect. Here's an example of someone telling their Medicaid story.
Hello, my name is Mike Dunn. I'm a father and a husband, and I was born with cerebral palsy. Growing up, my American dream was to own a home, have a job, be married, and have a family. But I didn't think that was going to be possible with all the help that I require with my personal hygiene and just everyday living. The Medicaid waiver has allowed me to fulfill my American dream. It has allowed me to live the best life I can possibly live, as independently as I can possibly be.
And here's my Medicaid story. So a few years back, I was on the CIH waiver, and I had gone through a lot of companies. And so a lot of the staff was wondering, well, why are you even with, like, why are you even on a waiver? Because you aren't even meeting the hourly, of staff to come in. Because they were saying that I was too highly independent. I drive my own vehicle, I self-medicate myself, and along with other things. So it was decided that we just went along and got me off the waiver because I was thinking, well, let's just go ahead and get me off the waiver so give it to somebody that needs it. So we went ahead and did that. And when I did, little did I know that I would be losing Medicaid. So I tried to go to the Medicaid office to apply. I do receive Social Security disability benefits, but little did I know that also I receive survivor benefits. And in the state of Indiana, that they account survivor benefits as part of income on top of Social Security disability. So they told me that I had maxed out on the income, so I had to look for alternative insurance that would cover dental and eye, dental and vision. So it was hard to come up with alternative insurance, but I did find insurance that was not Medicaid. But there's some downfalls when you lose waiver services like that, especially when it's Medicaid. So I just wanted all of you to know that.
And Erin, what was your experience like meeting your legislators? I know you've had the chance to meet your legislator in the past.
Yes, I did let my legislator know, and they said that they were going to try working on that because there should not be a cap for that.
Thank you. And did you feel like they were receptive to your messaging?
Not at the time, but I hope that they do something. Since there is a crisis now for Medicaid now. I
Yeah,
hope that they look at that factor.
So what's the crisis for Medicaid now, Erin? I haven't heard anything.
There are proposed cuts to Medicaid federally. So that's kind of why with this whole presentation, we're really talking about the importance of Medicaid and all the amazing things that it does for people and the way it enables people to live their lives.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
The resources that might be helpful to tell your story. The Arc of the United States Storytelling Toolkit. You can share your story here. You can go to the Arc of Indiana Medicaid feedback form website. Please reach out if you would like assistance in telling your story or get in contact for assistance through NOAA.
And yes, I saw in the chat. I will be providing all of these links and all these resources, as well as how to find your legislator, too. That way that you can have all that information. Let me drop that in the chat. Okay. And I saw in the chat we had a question about disability housing. If you'd like to come off mute, I'd be happy to answer that question to the best of my ability. Or you can drop it in the chat.
Hey, Noah.
Yes,
What
Lily?
Medicaid are they cutting? Like, what waivers? Or do we not know that yet?
Yeah, a lot of that is still in the air, and I believe it's more to do federally, like the Medicaid budget. Is that right, Becky?
Yes. So in Indiana, there aren't any necessarily like we're taking away a waiver or anything like that. So I don't want anyone to be worried that they're going to wake up and no longer have a family support waiver or anything like that. Um, what we are seeing federally is that there are some proposed budget cuts that would affect Medicaid, and we want to be sure that our DC delegation, all of our elected officials in Washington, DC, know the importance of Medicaid and what it really helps folks with disabilities do, and that that is not a place where we should be taking money away from people because it really helps folks to live meaningful and engaged lives and contribute to their communities.
Thanks, Becky. Perfect. And let me drop again in the chat. Oh, sure why I did that. Email address. Well, thank you all for listening to this presentation. And any questions?
I'm guessing that means we can unmute now.
Mhm.
Okay, just making sure.